It's week 6 and our couples are performing famous dances. And of course, we've got somebody back in the building. Get ready. It's going down now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh.
There it is.
I was like, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dancing with the Stars after show. I am your host, Rhavin with a V, McSweaney here, and you can find me at B Stays Busy. To my left, your right, we've got the beautiful, the missing in action, the happy to have back, beautiful Darvina.
Hi guys. Thank you. It's good to be back stateside. I have missed you
From
guys.
across the pond.
I've missed the studio. I'm like touching everything.
A lot of changes happening in the studio today.
A lot of change. I love it though.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get into it with you guys.
We're excited.
Yes, let them know where they can find you, Darvina.
You guys can find me at DivaDarv on Instagram and on Twitter.
And moving along, we have the handsome Matthew Evan Paine.
Hello, everyone. So excited to be here.
We love having you.
Can't wait. Cannot wait to talk about last night's episode.
He has been just boiling over.
Yep.
Yes, and
It's
last
true.
but not least,
What up, everyone? Jeff Graham here. Thanks again for tuning in. I was here the first week, so you might recognize my face. You guys can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham, and then on Instagram at Jeffrey Crane Graham.
all right.
I forgot to say mine.
Oh,
I was so
let
excited
him-
to
let
get
him
into the
know,
show. I
Matthew.
forgot. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Matthew Evan.
So let's start with you, Mr. Matthew Evans, since you're so excited.
Okay. The opening number.
Yes.
Yeah.
What
did
do we
you
think? Putting on the Ritz. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did. An exciting way to start off an exciting night.
Val in those sparkly boxer briefs.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
A little Tom Cruise-esque with the
I
risky
know,
business
right?
slide. Yeah,
Yes.
I liked it.
I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great opening number. That's what we want from an opening number.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely,
Like,
to get you
just
going for the show.
hit us with it, give us the whole energy, and I feel like there was some extra performers in there as well, which was nice. It really filled the stage, and they were really dancing. I love to see what the pros can do, because then you're looking at it and you're like, that's what these celebs are aspiring to, if you will.
Absolutely.
So it's really nice to
Exactly.
kind of set the tone and just like really start on a bang. So I was really impressed with it.
I was too. You mentioned Val right away with the boxers, but my eye happens to actually go to Artem. I think that he
Oh,
is like
right.
the shining star of the group.
He did lead it. It seemed like he was definitely
I thought so
leading.
too. I focused on him the whole time.
Yeah, it was sad to see him go so early this year because he's such a fantastic dancer.
So talented.
Yeah, but
kind
it's-
of like me. It's just all eyes all the
Too
time.
fabulous.
Yeah. It does feel like they've been featuring him a lot in troop stuff and transition numbers during the show, though, so it's nice that we still get a lot of art. It's a nice way to honor the dancers who haven't gotten to maintain
Right.
their status as still being, when
Right.
they lose their guest,
Right.
their celebrity, it's nice that they still let them
And
participate.
their fan base still loves them.
Right.
Yeah.
All
Exactly.
day, every day.
This is
I
true.
loved the starting number. And then we got into Kim Fields and Sasha with the jive,
Yes.
Yep.
The
which
fun
was
bags.
to Hairspray's You Can't Stop the Beat.
Yeah, I loved this.
Me too.
I thought this was such full energy. I thought it was a really good number to open the show with. I really love their partnership, so it was nice for me to see those two back together. So there's something about that partnership that I just didn't expect to be so into, but they're just so damn cute.
They are
I'm like,
cute.
you guys are awesome together, So I really enjoy those two together, and she's really moving, like bless her, with those injuries that she's been getting. She just wants to keep her mouth shut, go for
Right.
it, and
She wasn't letting the injury get in her
Not
way.
And they were
at
real
all.
injuries.
Right,
They really
absolutely.
Serious.
like not a joke. That's
No.
like serious business.
She told him she didn't want him changing the
At
dance.
all,
Yeah,
yeah.
I loved that.
That
That's a
was
fighter
really
right
nice.
there.
She
She's
really
a soldier.
is.
She smiled the whole dance too.
And it's a jive as well. So it
Yes.
was like kicks and flicks like nobody's business.
Right.
She kept the energy through the troupe. Then the troupe left. She was dancing, just her and Sasha on their own in the middle of the floor.
Exactly.
She kept it up. She kept that energy up. I didn't agree with Carrie Ann's comment because she said that she thought the energy was a tad
hair under.
below.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
I did not see that whatsoever. If anything, I thought she held that energy right through to the end.
Yeah.
And I was in studio as well, so I didn't feel like I wasn't getting that energy from her.
Here's what I thought maybe Carrie-Anne was trying to say, or at least what I interpreted was maybe, I don't sense this, but I think people have said that sometimes Kim can seem like she has a smile plastered on her face.
That's what I think sometimes too.
Right, and so maybe it read as kind of going through the motions. I didn't feel that personally, but maybe that's what Carrie-Anne meant. You've sometimes felt that, right? Have you?
I do think that she has a bit of a plastered smile on her face, and so it is hard to tell if she's actually into the dance or just rolling with the punches.
But do you guys think the packages at all kind of feed a type of
energy
or energy?
Right, for the week.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think
100%.
seeing that package and maybe she was looking for her to kind of be a little down more than
And
normal?
then bring her back up
Yeah,
during
I
the
don't know.
dance.
Maybe. I'm just wondering.
I feel that packages is something that I'll get into maybe a bit later,
Right.
because I feel like
not a
that,
fan of those.
they are no.
They're
You
so
know,
produced.
they really are, but to the point where it's like, oh, this week now, this person is going to be brought down a peg
Like
or
last
two.
week.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
you know? So it's a bit like, really? Can
Because
we
in
just...
this package, they show how she felt when Keo had, you know, his emotional kind of separation from last week.
Right.
And he walked out and kind of left her, and she's just like, oh, I want my partner
I
back.
thought that he looked like such a baby in the package this
I was a
week
little
when they were doing the
disappointed.
flashback to
I didn't
his
sense
scores.
that.
Really? Because he told the producer, I don't want to talk to anyone, get the camera out of my face, and then sat outside all alone like
I think
a
he
poor
was
sport.
just upset. I mean, you know, I understand. You've got to remember these guys are getting the critique right there and then.
Yeah.
And it does hurt when it's like everything you've put into something and then it suddenly just gets turned.
Max
I
is a little
don't
harsh
disagree
on
with
him.
you.
Max is a little harsh.
Yeah,
so.
I think so,
talking
too.
of that, guys, I have to say, I was absolutely gobsmacked that because he kept referring to that routine throughout his judging, so I felt like it was a little overkill.
Right.
So I kind of understood a little bit why Keo was so upset.
Right.
But I understand, you know, it's you got to kind of be a good sport about it. But I
I just thought he was a poor
sometimes-
sport because when you sign up to do Dancing with the Stars or a reality show, you're signing up to do the show, not to tell producers, I'm not talking to the camera right now. So
He was caught in a moment.
Yeah.
He was definitely caught in a moment. I was a little disappointed seeing that. I was like, no, Keo, no.
Yeah, I felt
I
that.
like you. Don't do that.
They were
Don't
harsh
let them
on
get to
him.
you. Like,
Yeah.
you're better
That's
than
what
that.
it
You're
is.
stronger than that.
And then they did a little shot of camera at the end of the performance to Marissa Jarrett Winokur, who was a season 6 contestant, who was in Hairspray and won the Tony. So it was nice to see
was
her
cute.
back in the
Yeah, no,
ballroom.
it was. It
Yeah.
was really cute. She's got a smile that just lights up the
Yeah,
room, doesn't
absolutely.
she? She's
Yeah.
adorable.
Let me
fun.
ask you guys something really quickly. Do you guys feel it in any sense a little jived out when it comes to Kim
What do you mean drive down?
and Sasha? I mean, this is not their first jive. This isn't their second jive.
Oh, I got you.
I mean, I'm a little concerned because a lot of this, you know, shoulders back, come on. And then that's obviously causing
right.
stress on, you know, her legs.
Her injured leg,
So
right.
I'm like, can we take it a little slower? Can we switch it up?
Can we
Or
get a foxtrot
can
maybe?
we something because it's,
maybe the
it's
rumba.
a lot.
Right.
I
know?
agree. That's something that's a bit interesting for me this season because I would like to see it streamlined a little bit more in terms of it's fair. Everybody does a jive.
Right.
Everybody does,
Does
you
a
know, a
foxtrot
rumba,
or
a
right.
foxtrot. So we can actually really compare people and say, oh,
Right.
well, this person last week did this, and you know, now this person's doing the same routine, and we
Absolutely.
can kind of gauge it a little bit more.
And back in the day, in original Dancing with the Stars day, they used to have it where it would be like the cha-cha and the foxtrot on week 1, and you either did one or the other, and then
Right.
they moved it to like the rumba and the paso, and everybody got a chance to do everything.
Yeah.
But you can't have one celebrity doing the same dance 3 times, and that's not a competition. That's just
perfecting
changing
the same
dance,
you know, the same
100%.
dance style.
Yeah.
And
right
yeah,
after
Right.
week.
Yeah. For the finals, she's gonna dominate doing the drive again
Yeah,
because she
'cause
knows,
who wouldn't
she knows
pick
it.
it?
Right.
Well, yeah, and a problem I have with it too is that it seems like sometimes the dance style is so essential to the way the judges will judge, and then sometimes it won't even be addressed in any way.
Yeah.
And
Right.
It just feels like the producers are pulling the show in 2 different directions of like, you know, let's loosen the rules, but then one couple will get hammered for not following the explicit credentials of what the dances are supposed to
We
be.
talked
Right.
about that
Yeah.
last
It just
week.
feels kind
Yeah.
of unfair. And
It
they
is
used to
unfair.
announce it. They used to say, dancing the cha-cha-cha, and they don't do that anymore.
They totally got rid of that.
They got
Absolutely.
rid of that. So it's hard. I don't know as a viewer if I'm supposed to embrace the new and enjoy the contemporary and bending the rules, or yield to the really stringent standards of the dances like it used to be.
I don't think that I think as a fan you're supposed to, give your feedback.
Yeah.
Give your honest opinion.
Right.
A couple seasons ago, I don't remember the season number, but it was when they had the girl who played Mercedes from Glee.
Amber Riley. They flopped where the judges' table was on the opposite side of the ballroom. Mm-hmm.
It changed the whole feeling of the show. One simple little idea,
Change,
and
right.
the following season back to where it was because the fans hated it.
Like,
Right.
no.
Yeah, and the same thing with like the fishbowl upstairs. It's not the same as the Red Room,
Yeah.
which they ended up bringing back. I don't know how many seasons ago, but and now they're doing both.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it is really interesting because this next couple that we watched, Vaughn and Whitney,
Right.
I thought that this was a prime example of the dance style saving the celebrity. Because, to be honest with you, we are in week 6 now, and watching Vaughn, I don't feel like I've really seen Vaughn do a Latin style or something that I really class as Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
It's true.
I really enjoyed this, and I thought that he did a great job.
I really enjoyed
of
watching him.
this routine, but I think the style saved him, and I need to see a little bit more dancing.
Technicality.
Like, he's not dancing yet, and it's week 6, but
Right.
still a good job. I mean,
He
what did you
was
think?
so stiff and robotic, but
mean,
he was having
sharper
so
than
much
normal.
fun. I agree.
He's
And
definitely sharper
he's a
than
tall
normal.
boy, and he was doing high kicks, and I was proud of him and for going out on a limb and really just going for it. But it was still a little hard to watch.
The troupe kind of outdanced him, when he had that moment.
Yes,
With the rest
it's hard
of
to have 6 backup dancers
That have danced
dancing
with
around
Michael
him.
Jackson.
Completely
Yeah,
Right.
Yes.
Shannon has actually danced
Right.
with Michael Jackson. So,
Yeah, this was
you know.
tough. I feel like the standard is like, okay, we need you to recreate a dance of literally the best, most deal-breaking, rule-breaking dancer in the history of dance. Go for it. So it was
No
kind
pressure.
of I know, it was kind of a tough setup for
It's
him.
Michael Jackson.
Right, it's MJ. I mean, like, it's the king of
Any Jackson to try to replicate.
And we had
is not-
Janet tonight too. You're right.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
a whole nother story.
I'm excited to get into that too because I have
I
some
am too.
thoughts.
Okay, so no discrepancies with the scoring for these last 2 couples?
No. Oh, and we actually forgot to touch on that. Vaughn and Whitney shared the same score as Kim
Kim
Fields and
Sa-
Sasha with 3/8, 24 out of 30.
I think that's ridiculous.
I think that they could have given Vaughn all 7s probably.
That was weird.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
really weird to me.
I thought so,
and
too.
I don't know if they're just afraid of him because he's a really big guy and they wanted to give him a little extra.
Boost his confidence, but
I
But I've
love.
seen them when they give lower scores to people that I feel they should have gotten, an extra point or 2. And
I don't think that's comparable, those 2 routines.
No.
whatsoever.
No,
Right.
no, because if we're being honest about it, Vaughn and Whitney performed at a week 1, maybe week 2 level for week
I don't know
6.
if I agree with you there.
Really?
Yeah, I thought honestly, I didn't think Vaughn captured the essence of MJ at all, but I still thought.
I don't either. No.
But that's the question: is what are we judging? Are we judging was he MJ? Was he in the pocket? Was he
Doing the dance, I think, is what we're judging.
As a dance,
That
regardless
wasn't
of
jazz,
that,
I don't think.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite basic in terms of the moves that he was
Right.
doing.
Right. There was no technicality, which is
choreography.
true. I don't know. I agree with you. I want to see him do like a tango or because it's hard to judge these really. I think Vaughn and Whitney's dance.
there's strategy there for him.
100%.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of strategy there.
I hope we see a really technically demanding dance for Vaughn and Whitney next week because I think I'll have a better sense of how to offer feedback about it.
I think he's definitely in the lower half of the
Agreed.
of the celebs. He's hanging on by a thread
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
He is. I think next week is make or break for them. I really want to see them do something different and show us a different side.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can do that to stay in the competition.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that their package lacked depth 100%. I thought it was over before we knew it. It was, him grabbing his crotch and doing the Michael Jackson
And his little giddy, excited jump dance.
And we've got people who've danced with Michael, like you said, cut to them dancing. I don't know. I just, it didn't touch on any emotional, things that he was going through. It didn't touch on
Interesting
his struggle
point.
for the week. I just thought it was very fluff and, you know, even if they had done something perhaps like a tribute to Michael, other than these are people who worked with Michael.
And I think maybe that's what we're
sitting in a
seeing.
baby chair? I feel like I'm sitting on the floor right now. I might have. I thought I did.
Oh, hilarious.
Wait, so Keo definitely bounced back for me.
But there we go.
There you are. Hey.
Hi, how are you? You're back.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Hi, everyone. Matthew Evan Paine here.
Look, exactly. The next couple, Jody and Keo, I was very proud because I asked this question last week because she had given her best performance last week with a different partner. And I was wondering, you know, when she gets back with Keo, you know, the pressure is going to be on. Yep. And I think they did amazing.
I do too.
Considering all the
she got
the emotions.
hit in the face. He fell on her.
That package
foot.
was really hard to watch.
But then when she came back in and she's perfectly fine. Just, you know, just don't put too much pressure, no fractures.
She was like, I'm not doing that move again,
sprains.
but let's go. Let's move forward.
That was awesome.
That's the fighter spirit. I am all about the fighter spirit on Dancing with the Stars. That is what the show is about.
Right. I thought they were going to switch. I thought maybe Keo would have taken that spot at the bottom, pulling her back.
I think because they were trying to recreate the video, if they weren't going to do it the way it was done, it was better to just take it out. But I really enjoyed this.
And I love that they had the original choreographers from Pink's actual video try. It was great. It was nice seeing them. I don't know them, but I loved that they came in and they knew what they were comparing it against.
Right.
Definitely, and I think that really helped. I really enjoyed this routine. It was very emotional.
Very raw.
Watching it in studio, it was like, oh.
Yes.
And then I watched it back and I didn't feel as intense and a bit, it wasn't, not that I wanted to look away, but it was definitely really, it grabbed you.
Yes.
And it was a little like, ooh. But watching it back on TV, I didn't find that so much. But I really, it was still a great performance though. And I preferred actually watching it back on TV and seeing it in that regard. But I thought that they did a really good job. There was a lot of lifts in there. If you're not used to doing those, you're not used to doing those kind of lifts, that's hard work.
Right, and you wonder what it's going to look like live on TV.
Yeah, you only get one chance at it. You know, that's a lot of pressure.
I'm proud of her. I'm so proud of Jodie Sweetin.
She's a tough cookie.
It's amazing. I was saying before the show started that we grew up with her. I mean, she was in our house every Friday night for our entire childhood, and now watching her as she's a lady now, and it's just amazing, and she really is putting 100% into her performances, and I love her. This was one of my top 2 performances from last night.
I'm glad they got it together this week. I felt like they needed a good week to really come together cohesively, and they did it. Good job.
And Carrie Ann actually said something similar to you. She said that it was hard to watch, and she turned something ugly into something dynamic and beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Giving them the first 9 of the night from Miss Carrie Ann.
Yep.
Yeah, what was the breakdown? Was it 8, 9, 8?
988.
Yeah.
25 out of 30.
Yeah. I do think that's a little underscored though.
Me too.
A little bit too. It could have been 3 9s. I would have been happy.
I think it could have been at least 2
9s and an 8. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
At least 2 9s. I mean, really, she's 1 point higher than Von and Whitney. That seems a bit insane because like her quality of dancing is really just
but I also, and with that being said, I also thought that Jodie's performance completely outshined Kim's.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was definitely.
I love Kim.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too, and another one that we've grown up with.
Yeah, I think this one was more of a complex, performance emotionally.
Not bubbly. Right. Exactly.
Charged,
it was underscored.
I think so.
I think so too.
One thing I love about Jodie is she's so submitting to the process of what Dancing with the Stars can be. I feel like she's so game, and she wants it. I mean, they all want it, but I feel like Jodie's got a real fire. I hope that can.
She does.
I'd like to see her continue very far.
Right.
I hope we do.
Me too.
Fingers crossed.
She has to. She's moved up pretty high on my winning circle, so.
Yeah.
The next dance,
Paige and
Mark with the jazz from the opening theme of Austin Powers. I actually thought this package was excellent. With Mark on the phone with Ashley Edens, one of the producers, saying that his song and the style of dance that they were going to be performing was ripped from them.
What was it? No one will tell us.
I think it was Clearance. I think they couldn't.
What was the song?
It was Clearance.
That's what I want to know. Do you know the
Do we know the song or the style they were supposed to sing? Because they didn't mention it on the show.
I don't know what style it was, and I don't know if I can say
I heard
what
it was
song it was.
Yeah.
I say go for it.
You're not seeing it, Darv.
I read on a gossip article that it was supposed to be Paula Abdul.
I believe that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was
I can
supposed
say
to
yes
be
or
Paula
no.
Abdul.
Yes or no answers. I plead the fifth. Don't ask
I
me to
read that
explain.
independently, so I think it's out there somewhere.
It is. All right. Cool.
So I thought that the dance was fun and lighthearted. I'm actually glad that Shirley Ballas is not here until next week.
No.
Yeah, I kind of hated it.
It wasn't my favorite.
Wow.
It wasn't my
I'm
favorite
surprised.
either.
Wow.
I loved
I mean, the judges
I
talked
loved
about
it.
how they were so in sync, but there were parts where they weren't in sync to me, and I was just
Oh
kind of like,
my god, I
they were-
totally disagree.
oh my gosh, I was just kind of, I love the athleticism,
Right.
you know, in the air.
And that
everything.
song you can't go wrong with. I mean, it makes you think of the movie. But the opening to Austin Powers is so much better than the performance they put on. Like, at least with Jodie and her partner, you knew what they were going for, and that it was like comparing apples to apples. And I felt like Mark and Paige fell really short.
Oh my gosh, I totally disagree. I thought the choreography was outstanding. Like the beginning bit with Mark coming up and the feet. I
That
thought it
part was
so
cute. That part was really
creative.
cute.
And then that routine was non-stop moving. The technicalities
It was
that
non-stop.
Paige was doing in that, by the way, side by side, full-on technique. I was really impressed. The character too. Not only did Mark nail it, but
By far
so
he
did
did.
Paige.
Yeah.
You know, she brought something really sassy but understated. It wasn't over the top.
No.
I really enjoyed this routine, and I thought, you know, because I spoke to Mark when his song got pulled when I was like arriving. I was like, mate, can you pick me up from the airport? He's like, no, dude, like I've got a lot going on right now. My song has just got pulled.
You were like, but I'm
This
at the
and that. And I was like,
airport.
no, me. No, but so he definitely went through a lot this week, and I thought that considering all of that,
It was
you
a major
could
pull
not
through.
tell at all. And
Right.
I can't believe, I'm honestly really surprised that you think that, but
Well,
obviously it's your opinion.
What hurt me was that they got a 10 and Jodie didn't.
I was
That
in my
burned me
feelings
a little
about
bit.
that.
I just
wow.
didn't think, because with the show, the scoring, again, you don't always agree as a fan.
Yeah.
I didn't agree. I thought not only did they not deserve a 10, I couldn't believe that Jodie didn't get one and they did.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a double punch
Whoa,
for me. Yeah.
you really weren't happy.
Here's a question I have for you. What would you have wanted to see different in Mark's choreography? Because I feel like it nailed the essence of, like, Bruno mentioned Fosse.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was so perfect. I mean, Mark's choreography for me is always...
I think he's so talented, so don't
Yeah,
get me
yeah, of
wrong.
course, yeah.
But I think that Mark tends to have over performance and over dancing, and I think that sometimes his over dancing outshines or takes away from his partner. So
wow.
when he's dancing circles around his partner, it's not in terms of him being a better dancer, it's that it's the Mark show.
So you thought he overdanced, outshadowed Paige in this routine?
I think he often does that with his partners, and I think that he always has. That's one
wow.
thing.
I did find myself watching him more, but I mean, he
was Austin.
He was Austin Powers,
Right.
so of
Yeah.
course. But as I was saying in the beginning, there was a few parts that they were not in sync to me. And now maybe their feet were on point, but the movement was not.
I actually
on
agree
point.
with you.
And that stood out to me. And I
didn't
think
see
I
that
felt
at
a
all.
little bit hurt about the whole Jodie and Kia thing too.
Well, because here's
probably.
my question.
I think they did a really great job, but when they said 10, I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, did you just say 10? Right.
Like, Paige is clearly a standout. Like, I think she could win, and she deserved. Like, she's incredible. Do you guys think she's always in the pocket? That's one thing I've noticed. I'm not sure she really sits on the groove all the time. And, like, granted, her quality of movement's amazing, but, like, I sometimes see her anticipating moves, and I know what you mean about being in sync, and there were one or two times when I think... Sometimes you see this with the athletes versus the musicians. The musicians can, like, Wanye is always right in the pocket with his
Right.
moves. I'm not sure Paige has really nailed just, like, sitting in the groove of the dance necessarily. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. It's one thing I've actually noticed week to week.
Ooh,
Really?
that's interesting.
I always thought she was always on point.
Really? I mean,
I mean, except
quality
for
of
this
movement
one.
is amazing, but I don't know. I think she could
That's very interesting. She's always been in my winner circle.
Oh, she definitely is for me too.
No, for me.
Yeah, who?
Clearly, Matthew. Clearly.
I think we got that.
I mean, I think she's one of the strongest.
Moving along, 28 out of 30, first 10 of the night. Woohoo!
10 from Len.
A 10 from
That's what you
Len.
get when you get some birthday cake.
And also, I just want to clarify, I do like Paige. I do like Paige, and I do like Mark. It's just how I feel. Don't attack me. Yeah.
No, we don't shoot the messengers.
No.
We don't shoot the messengers here. That's what they do on YouTube.
Someplace else. Not here.
So next, Niall and Peter. Niall and Peter.
Loved.
Really?
Loved.
Let's start with Jeff. How did you feel? How did you feel about this
Enough
quick
out of
step?
me.
Yeah,
Okay, I do
this
have to
quick
say,
step.
I had a problem with the package a little bit.
Okay.
I didn't love
I
the way
agree with
Niall
you.
was portrayed. Like, it's funny, up until this point, I've loved Niall. This week, I was a little bit like, ooh, that doesn't make you look great, all the things that you're saying.
What part?
When he
The
was like,
arrogant
I mean, I'm just not threatened by any of the dancers. My
My
only
competition is Val.
Ooh,
Okay,
yeah.
It's
slow your roll,
Yeah.
darling. I think you are absolutely fantastic. However, how can you sit there, like, legitimately? I mean, maybe it was just a passing joke and we kind of got it misinterpreted, but he seemed
I think
pretty
he really-
straightforward
I
about
know
it.
that. He really-
seemed matter of fact, like
I agree.
Val. And they actually questioned him, you mean Val and Ginger? And he said, no, I mean Val.
I didn't take it as him being a jerk or disrespectful to his fellow contestants. I just thought it was like they're the most on the same page in terms of like athleticism and he doesn't have an equivalent. Like Wanye's not his equivalent.
I just like don't say that. I just feel like
Wait, so you think he's like in a league of his own? Like
For the male performers, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if after this week, I don't know if I agree.
Oh, I thought his performance was spot on.
Let's dive into the performance.
Yeah,
What
let's
do you
do
think
that.
of the actual,
I loved
routine?
it. It reminded me of Elio, and Julianne from season 5.
okay.
Elio.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, you're really making some strong comments today. I love it.
That was the performance. It was the same song that they did back in season 5.
yeah.
And do you remember it?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah,
It just,
it was
I smiled
fantastic.
from ear to ear. And the major difference for me, or the only real difference for me, was the fact that he was wearing the mask. I mean, which was it was perfect.
Spot
Yeah.
on. Spot on.
I
The prosthetic face.
Yeah, no,
and
he
the
looked
teeth and-
great. He
yeah.
really committed
Yep.
to the character, and I believed it 110%. I enjoyed the portrayal of the character.
Right.
I really loved that part. But I did think it was a bit messy. I know it's super fast. Like, that routine was crazy,
Yep.
crazy fast.
Yeah.
But Carrie Ann did mention about the frame being a bit broken, and I tend to agree with her
And I
on
agree.
that front. And I just think it was a little sloppy. And this was the first time, like Carrie Ann said on the side-by-side, that we did lose this. They were out of
Yes.
sync. And it was pretty evident there.
I
He
was
just totally
super
lost
impressed
it,
in the
but-
beginning when he started by himself.
Yes.
He started on beat, obviously he cannot hear when the music starts,
Yeah.
so I was impressed coming down the stairs and everything.
Peter was on the side, little tidbit, just kind of like cueing him in to keep
which was
him on
perfect.
beat. Bless her heart. It's good to see how they work together.
Right.
It's perfect.
Because it is.
They care about each other.
Yeah, they really do. It's such a unique partnership, just given the challenges that they're facing, and it's
Right.
just how new this is, and just figuring just how to teach out and all of that. So he's doing a great job.
I think
But
so
as you
too.
said, when they got together, you could really see the difference of him being, a few beats behind.
We do have to be mindful, though, of the fact that he can't hear.
Yeah, but,
I mean,
but
that's
it doesn't
pretty
matter
accurate.
at this point because that has never stopped
I
him.
agree.
No,
He has been
absolutely.
on point. So now it's like, oh,
You've set
you've
the
been
bar.
on point.
Yeah, he
you
set the bar, absolutely.
And now it's gotten to your head because you don't think anyone's your competition except for
I
another
just didn't take
celebrity.
it
I mean,
that way.
another pro.
I totally did.
Really?
And obviously Lynn did too because he
and I
was
was just
touched.
about to
He was
say,
touched
because
by that.
I didn't think that he came across as a jerk until I heard Len's comments when he said that that's really annoying of you to say that.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, whoa, that I don't think that you're on the right page, Len. Maybe I'm the one not on the right page.
you are the minority in this panel as far as feelings
Okay.
because we all felt that he felt that way. And
Well,
is
excuse
fine.
me, Miss Rhavin.
look, I'm just saying, I love
your chair
Niall.
down again.
I look.
That's how I feel right now.
I'm Team Niall. I'm Team Niall.
I am too.
I'm a
I
part
love
of
him.
America's
I love
Next
Niall,
Top
too.
Model, producing.
Niall.
And yeah,
Yeah.
like, I love him, but I was kind of like, whoa, Turbo,
I'm
slow your
curious
road.
to see how he comes back in and what
I
his...
think he's gonna take it. He's gonna take it with stride.
I think so,
like,
too.
All right, all
Yeah.
right.
Maybe
Learning
chill it a little
experience.
and
I agree about the dance. I mean, like, I think Carrie Ann's comment was that it feels like the dance got away from you,
Yeah.
which I felt like really was a good encapsulation of how it felt. Like, I feel like neither of them really seemed in control of, to me, what the dance could have been.
Right.
It just felt like, yeah, like they weren't. I mean, it was very fast, but Quick Step is fast. Like, it just.
I mean,
it
I
was
feel like
chaotic.
he outdid himself. I mean, for the quicks, that but at the end of the day, there was all these different elements. He had that mask on. He didn't
Right.
get to try it on until the day of. We don't know if his peripheral
Right.
was impaired. I'm not trying to make excuses,
No.
but
Right.
but it wasn't. I don't think it was his best.
Definitely not.
And he
I think
got-
it was probably his
I
weakest.
liked the
And
performance.
you know what?
I really did like the performance, but I don't know if I'm biased.
It was my second favorite performance
Was
of the
it?
evening, right
Wow.
behind Jodie. Yeah.
Well, they got Carrie Ann gave them an 8.
Yes.
Len gave them an 8,
And Bruno gave them a
gave them a 9.
Yep, for a total of 25 out of 30.
I think overscored.
I think I could have been all right with all 8s.
I'm glad they got that
I could have,
9.
I could have taken one more 9 and been happy.
I think it was perfect. 2 8s and a 9, just based on everything and as a whole.
The next dance of the evening was the biggest disappointment for me.
Agreed on that one.
I was,
was.
oh my, I wanted to shut the TV off and walk away and like regroup and go back.
Yeah, I've said this before too. Didn't I say her name should be Sugar? And not Ginger?
Yes.
She's sweet, and
yeah.
she couldn't.
Sugar.
She's
Yeah.
sweet.
That was the issue with
there's
this
no
routine.
spice. There's no spice.
So she was doing Nasty, right?
Yeah.
To Janet Jackson.
Which again,
Oh.
Jacksons are very hard.
It was the equivalent of karaoke to this song. Like it was.
You know what? She's very, like, Disney Week was perfect
For her,
Yeah.
yes.
She's can really embody the characters, and I love her energy. I love the way she gives it full on face. But this was like nasty, and she was giving us way too much facials. And I was
No.
like, you need to like really kind of streamline it. And then Val had said we need it to be more sexy.
Right. It
And
wasn't
I think
sexy.
It wasn't sexy, was it?
It looked like a Disney performance.
did.
But the
Yeah.
choreography as well. There were parts where there was like that flirtatious moment where she's going guy to guy to guy, and I was like, "What?
with
Dance. Where is
with zero sex appeal.
Yeah, it was
agree
kind of
with
like
Yeah.
instead of like
Yeah,
It wasn't her week, and
No,
I think
I mean, she said that her schedule has been beating her up.
She did.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're fine. I was just thinking, like, it was interesting. One thing I noticed was I almost wonder if Val, it felt like at the very beginning of the package when she was getting nasty, Val was like, that's too much,
Right.
you're humping too much. I wonder if Val coached her back and it interfered with her ability to deliver something really gritty and kind of sexy and dirty.
Well, if he pulled her back, thank God he did, because if that was pulled back versus what wasn't pulled back, that would have been totally wrong for the style of dance that it was.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I just did not think that face and the performance was right for the tone of the routine.
It was
Right.
a cheap
So-
imitation of Janet Jackson.
Yeah, it didn't do it justice.
No.
at
the Mickey
all
Mouse
for
Club
me.
version.
It
100%.
was,
It was so
also-
safe and right.
She wasn't on her body, like in her legs. I felt like she was like Bambi about to fall over at any second.
Yes.
And she went down and got back up and wasn't really on her legs. And I was a bit worried about her, like, is she going to fall over?
There weren't
Right.
real hits.
It was a bit disconcerting for me. I was like, oh, are you all right? Are you okay? I wasn't sure that she was going to make it to the end in one piece a little bit.
I get that.
I don't know if it translated as much on TV as I felt that in the studio, which was a shame because I love her personality.
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm
of
like
course.
willing Ginger
I
to
really
do
like
well.
her. Yeah, yes, and that's it.
But
She's
this
so
week
likable.
I think was a little bit of a hump for her in terms of it didn't really come together. But
I think there was some favoritism showed in the scoring as well. So I think it was overscored.
so, you think it was overscored? So you could have had a couple of 7s in there.
yes,
Could have thrown in
most
maybe
definitely.
a 7. I'm glad they didn't get any higher. I'm okay with their score.
Yeah, I mean that would have been ridiculous
No.
if they'd have got a 9. I don't think it was worthy of that at all.
I thought it
know-
was so funny when Tom Bergeron, at the end of the dance, he said the girl next door has moved to a different neighborhood.
He's so great.
spot on,
He
isn't
really
he?
is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, he just is so quick.
He's a pro.
He really is.
Yes.
He's fantastic.
Love Tom.
That's a brilliant comment.
I felt okay with the scores. I feel like given the rest of the scores that were given all night, they felt appropriate. Like, because she didn't really miss choreography, and I feel like you get like this week it seemed like
That's
8s were
true.
given out if you miss moves but the emotion was there. Okay, we'll give you 8s. If your choreography's there but the style's not right, we'll give you 8s. I just
Right.
scoring this week was kind of weird for me. But
too.
if other people are getting 8s, I feel like Ginger should get 8s too.
I agree with you on that one. I do.
Yeah.
And Rhavin, really? Rhavina?
That's us together.
Yeah, I just-
Ravina,
yeah,
Darvina,
I was talking
and
to
Rhavin.
both of you.
I was looking like, you're not talking to me.
I like how you both looked up like, mm-mm.
No, that's not
Come
right.
again.
One more time.
Wait, which one, the Rhavin or Darvina?
Both of you.
Okay.
Rhavina, both of you. Len said what you did, Robin, how it was more tasty
Than nasty.
Yeah.
Yes.
It lacked a little attitude.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Yep.
I 100% agree with that.
Wanted
So that
more.
was a
We all
total of
wanted more. I think we
24.
can all attest to that.
Definitely.
24 out of 30. Next, we had
The next
our-
mess.
No, that was the cutest. Okay, Doug and Karina, before I get into it. Dancing Slumdog Millionaire.
God.
Bollywood was the style. And it was the funnest dance I've seen Doug do.
I agree.
It was. And
It was fun.
And he didn't miss a beat. I mean, he might not have, done it as good as everyone around him, but, when he was hopping, I loved it.
I found myself smiling the whole time.
Right? You could not smile.
Right.
You just can't not smile.
What did you think, Darvin? I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this.
I agree with you guys in terms of I enjoyed it. It didn't offend me. I was quite happy. I had a smile on my face.
Yes.
Right.
However, I did not feel like I was watching Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I was actually watching the competition value of this show. I think they picked a routine that he was going to be able to do
Excel
okay.
in it. But
They
for
catered
him,
to him?
right.
I wonder.
Yeah,
Catered
I
to
feel
him.
like it was catered to him because, I mean, also Karina had never done this dance style before. I think that's where you get into a tricky situation when you're giving pros like Karina Smirnoff, by the way, who's like a queen of ballroom. She is outstanding,
Yes.
that woman. To give her something that she's never done before is just quite honestly
It's amazing what they
hilarious.
pick up. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously she's been doing it for years, and so she
Yeah,
should be able
of
to pick up
course,
choreography,
of
but like
course, but
effortless, really.
oh, 100%.
Yep.
But I find it hard to really judge, to be honest
know.
with you.
There was nothing to judge.
And Bollywood requires so much strict, foot and hand placements.
Yep.
So
It kind of felt like giving Whitney Houston a nursery rhyme. Like it was like, I mean, she's the queen of
Wow.
ballroom. like-
Well said. Absolutely.
there was a great lift.
Thank you. If I'm a producer of this show, here's what I kind of wonder. Doug and Karina are going home this week because I feel like, to me, they clearly should have gone home this week. I
Yeah.
think the rest of the mix is pretty even. I don't know who's going to win. These two are clearly, it was their time, even though I love them. If I'm a producer of this show, I'm thinking, let's let Doug go on a fun note.
Right.
Let's give him Bollywood. I wonder if that played into it at all.
And also,
tried to call that
I
last
think
week.
so, but I think also maybe they don't want him to have something where he really struggles, where it's so
Right.
obvious that he is the one to go, because then they do the whole, oh, there's 3 in jeopardy thing.
Right.
So I agree with you on that one. But it was a good one for him to go out.
fun.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
it was. It was super cute. It was
Yeah.
adorable.
Yeah.
It was adorable.
It was adorable.
It was.
He was good.
And even when they all got in one line and they did the hand movements, he was in sync.
But that was
You
the
know what
least
was
Dancing
really-
with the Stars moment I've ever seen in my life. A
you-
choreographed line wave. I
Yeah,
was like,
but,
what?
but that's killing time to make him not have to dance is what they're doing there, and also to not show what he can't do. They had Karina standing in the front of that wave.
That's true.
So it was like let's kill 30 seconds of his actual performance time
We love
by
you,
not
Doug.
letting him
Agreed.
dance. Yes,
we
Doug,
love
great
you.
job.
Flutie, flutie.
Oh, it was a great run for him. I loved his journey.
Yeah, I think he
I
lasted
thought he
longer than-
had the voting on his side just because he had, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady giving him shout outs on social media, but I guess,
Side note, I think I've created a new hashtag.
Rhavina.
Yeah.
Hey, just make sure H is in there, okay?
Okay.
So 7s across the board.
Yeah, and those scores suited that perfectly.
Yeah,
Agreed.
it did.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
did.
Agreed.
No discrepancies, 21 out of 30. Moving along.
See, this is the one I've been excited to talk about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wanye and Lindsay.
Because you know me, I keep my opinions to
Oh,
myself.
totally.
I don't have much to
Wallflower
say.
over here that we have.
Wanye, love. I love him. He's childhood to me.
Yeah. No, hands down.
Jodie Sweetin, Kim Fields, Wanye.
Yes.
Perfect.
They had Jazz this week.
They had Jazz this week to Bye 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 from NSYNC, obviously. And Joey Fatone was there.
Which is
Lance
perfect because he was talking smack about him in the beginning.
Yeah. So much fun to watch. When the performance started, I thought, oh, this is going to be garbage. I hated the first 30 seconds of it.
And the screens?
Yes.
The screens bothered me for some reason.
It was distracting.
At first because they weren't, look, I was nitpicking, but they weren't really in sync.
Right.
And I was just kind of like, get from behind that already so I can go on.
It didn't look great on screen, unfortunately.
No,
and I know
did it look good live?
It did.
Yeah.
I thought it looked fantastic.
Good.
It was really effective.
That's good, and that's what the judges are assessing is the in-studio. And they also want to play homage to what actually happened, so they kept that.
Exactly.
But I could have done without that as well.
But I loved the choreography.
Yeah.
Kudos to Lindsay.
Oh, 100%.
Like, it was amazing, and it was their own style of them.
Yeah.
Because one of them, when he did this and they had the little twinkle toes, I was like, yes.
You know what I love about these two is this is when you see a really good partnership come together. Their packages aren't fluff. They are a legit.
All their packages are
this
good,
is like
actually.
the platonic love story.
Yeah, they're just so. And he calls Lindsay his Z-Pack, which just cracks me up. That's just brilliant. And they really are fun together, and they bring out the best side of each other. He works so hard. His musicality, his technique. He was dancing with the troupe. He was giving it full energy. I think after last week, he was a bit, out of sorts with a new partner, and to come back, he was beyond super appreciative. And
he was determined.
Super determined, and they went for it, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
As surprised as I was to see Paige and Mark get a 10, I was equally surprised to see them get 2.
I wasn't.
Really?
Because of the first half of it. Because I think that it took so long to warm up. Once he got into it, he was totally into his stride, but I think it took too long to actually give them 10s.
Oh, wow.
Like, I would have been cool with 3 9s, absolutely.
I'd have been cool with 3 10s.
Would you have? Was it that good in studio? Because I thought at home it wasn't.
I still would have been okay with 3 10s.
Really?
I would have been okay with 3 10s too. I mean, the movements were very melodic for me, and not to sound cliche, but super in sync. Like, super in sync. Like, I was watching them from, their feet, hands, everything, and he is amazing.
Yeah, what astounded me about this was not only was he just as good as the rest of the pros, which is obviously kind of one of the things you look for in these big group numbers. I was watching him. I thought he outperformed. And granted, he was the focus.
He didn't even notice Lindsay at some point.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this was outstanding. And my comment I wrote was, I don't know why Len actually gave Wanye a 10. Or a 9, I mean. I don't know why Len gave Wanye a 9, because his comment was, you've taken a great step towards the finales, positive. I was
surprised, too, in that regard, but never surprised with them not doing it. I think that for the show's purposes, it's too early to give 3 10s.
That's fair. It would have been a huge... Well, but I feel like historically they've done stuff like this.
I think that was all 10s worthy, 100%.
Yeah, I do too. And I feel like Wanye, this dance especially, is an example of, before when I was talking about Paige, how there's just one little thing missing. I think Wanye is his musicality is so strong. I want to see a little more musicality from Paige. Her quality of movement is so good. She moves so well. I feel like she could take a lesson from Wanye and just really, really being in the groove of the choreography.
I think the same could be said for Ginger, too.
Yeah. I think Wanye might be the most musical dancer.
Oh, yeah. When you watch him, you can see every kind of intonation. There's real light and shade.
Yes.
When you watch him, you're like, ooh,
Wanye.
Yeah. Like,
he opened
really
the show.
going.
He opened the show for the opening number last week, and all eyes were on Wanye.
Yes.
Yeah.
He gives me Amber Riley every week. I don't know if you guys feel that, but I really see a similar...
Like joy.
And just like... pure musicality for me.
A love for it. Again, another contestant who is 100% Dancing with the Stars, like what the show is all about.
Exactly. Now, switching to Antonio and Shana, I actually have to say, I saw a real shift in him this week. I mean, that package, I started to feel that he really wants to be here.
Yeah, I thought he was the most improved dancer of the week.
After seeing how he felt about what Shauna had said in the package and not standing up for their team as, you know, the ones that she thought were going to make it all the way through, and seeing how he handled that, I thought he handled it really well.
Like a gentleman.
Exactly. He didn't not say what he wanted to say. He didn't, you know, let that interfere with his relationship with his partner.
He did unfollow her on Twitter though. They was
really?
Back and forth. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I do my degree of stalking, and I was wondering what was going on.
Then, but from what I saw, he seemed to handle it quite well. He just needed to
express himself.
Exactly. And whatever happened, it worked, because that routine was amazing. I've not seen him move like that. Those feet were absolutely going, and it wasn't out of sorts. It was refined.
Right.
A different type of refinement that I've seen in Antonio since the beginning of this competition. It's like, welcome to the competition.
I like that they showed him as the last performance of the evening simply because of the fact that he was the most improved. Rather than putting like the best dance at the end, it was such a pleasant surprise to wrap the show with him.
Yeah. And the backflip too. I mean, he's really
his whole number was very technically advanced.
Yeah.
I think a lot was being asked of him by Sharna, and he really brought it. And it's funny, at first I wasn't sure about the package, but when I think back, I think he actually was really justified in the way he felt. Like, I was thinking, like, if my partner said that right before I danced and I saw that, I'm just agreeing with you.
That's got to rock you.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm just agreeing with you that I think he was justified in his feelings and handled it really well. But yeah, this was a big week for Antonio.
Did anyone feel, though, that when he was telling Sharna how he felt, I almost felt like she was texting. Like, I felt like she was so disconnected from his apology or from his feelings that her apology was so cold or insincere. She was like, oh, I hope you don't feel that way.
I think she was just a bit taken back. Like, knowing Sharna, she really cares about the way her effect on people. You know, she's very mindful in what she does and the way she does things, you know. So for her, she was probably really taken back that what she said had such an impact on her partner in a negative way, really.
Yeah.
But I think they came out of it and really turned it around. And that's what you want to see. You know, you don't want to, you know, it was a minute and they got over it, they regrouped,
and then they killed it.
Exactly.
For them, and I thought the scores also reflected pretty well.
I'm sorry, hate to break up this little party, but this was my least favorite.
Really?
Really? Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, in the beginning,
it's to break up this little party.
I'm just kind of like, you know. For me, the footwork in the beginning seemed a little off. It was like super off in the beginning, and for me, I was stuck on that throughout the whole thing, and there was times where his feet seemed a little loose.
Yeah, feet loose.
Yeah, he had some feet loose. For me, I don't know. It was. I mean, the energy was great.
Thank you.
There it is. I actually noticed that too.
Oh my God.
The energy was great, and I get the energy of, you know, I was a little butt hurt earlier, and now I'm gonna push through with my partner. I told her how I felt, and we're gonna make it happen. I felt that energy in this routine, but it just was not my favorite. So that's my piece.
I think maybe the choreography was a bit outside. He didn't live up to all the choreography in my mind.
There was a lot in there, though.
There was a lot in there.
Action-packed.
Oh my gosh, I think it was one of the technically most advanced dances of the night, but it might have outdone him a bit, I think, even though he brought it.
I get that.
He brought it.
Yeah.
It just was my least favorite.
It surprises me. You like Doug Flutie's performance more than this one?
Well,
no, you do.
For different reasons. For different reasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
For different reasons.
Okay.
I felt an emotional disconnect a little bit with this one. When we talk about when people accuse when people accuse Kim of having a plastered smile, I really felt like Antonio knew this was a high stakes dance.
Absolutely.
He felt a little mechanical to me in his emotion. I don't think he emotionally exuded in the same way that like Wanye does, for example.
No, I understand that. There were moments in the performance side of it where I did think, you know, we could have had a little bit of a different facial expression, if you will. He does have a fantastic smile. I could almost watch him all day.
Just smile.
Yeah, just smile.
Right.
But there were times where it could have called for a little of a different emotion. But that being said, most improved.
Oh my gosh.
For sure. Don't think that I like the. Don't think that I think.
Now.
No, but don't think that I thought Doug's performance was better than Antonio's. I enjoyed it more than Antonio's.
That's fair. I mean, I think I
want that to be clear before I start getting attacked.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed Kim's dance the most this week. I mean, like, it's funny because I can separate better dances from the most enjoyable, and Kim actually for me consistently has the most enjoyable numbers of the night.
So that was your most enjoyable.
Most enjoyable for me was Kim and Sasha at the beginning. Yeah.
How about you? Most enjoyable?
Jody and Niall was a tie for me.
Jody and Niall.
Yep.
I have to say that Mark and Paige was most enjoyable for me. I really thought it was a great routine. I really did, and I thought the complexities of it as well were what I'm looking for in week 6.
Interesting. I completely disagree.
Yeah. I know.
I just
you do.
He's like, wow.
We have to move on. Oh, well, what was your?
It was Jody.
Yeah.
It was Jody.
Jody was your favorite?
Yeah, for sure.
So finally, we agree on something.
I agree.
And then
Took the whole show, guys.
Then they moved on to the elimination.
Yep.
Where
Which we had Paige and Mark, Doug and Karina, and Vaughn and Whitney in Jeopardy, which was an easy call to figure out who was going to be eliminated.
Right.
I would have been happy with either Doug and Karina or Vaughn and Whitney. I think it was Doug's time for sure. I think
I definitely
next to
don't
go
think it
will
was
be Vaughn
Paige.
and Whitney.
Speaking
Paige
of
and Mark.
Vaughn and Whitney, they were on Ellen.
Yes.
420 last Wednesday. And their performance, it was Live with Kelly and Michael when Kelly didn't show, but that's another show.
Oh yeah.
That's a different after show, folks.
Today,
their performance was really off, and Michael introduced their performance here to show you why they're one of the top performers to beat on the show, and then you see them perform, and it was disastrous.
What routine was it that they had done?
I want to say it was the cha-cha.
But have they done routine similar to that on the show?
It was a cha-cha. It was a cha-cha, and it was a hot mess.
It surprised me that Paige and Mark were in the bottom 3 and not Antonio and Sharna.
Well, I think with this bottom 3 or 2, it's not necessarily the bottom 2.
Right, but for performance-wise, if you threw the 3 worst performances together, or 3 worst or lowest scored performances, even if that's what they were doing, Antonio still should have been in the bottom 3, not Paige.
Yeah, well, I don't think it has any bearing on who's actually in the bottom 1. I mean,
but then it's no surprise to the audience.
What?
Do you know what I mean? No, like why would you put Paige and Mark, who did a nice job, in the bottom 3 when
votes? I think it's like the suspense.
They're just trying to build it up a little.
But I don't think that there's a build up when you've got Paige and Mark, who did such a better job than Antonio.
We've seen surprise eliminations.
That's the thing, at that point in the competition.
Sabrina Bryan, or any. I mean,
yeah,
I think they're trying to build suspense because there is a precedent of you never know.
Next Monday is the double elimination. Who do we think is going home?
It's pretty even now. To me, there's not a clear front runner this year.
There really isn't.
This has been the best line of front runners. They're all really good.
I'd agree with that. I think that Ginger is heading towards the bottom of the pack for me, which I'm quite surprised about. I didn't think that would be something I'd be saying, but she's heading towards the bottom for me unless she can really show us something different next week.
Yeah.
Because people like Kim and Sasha are just bringing it week after week. They just
now
really
this is the time where bodies are breaking down.
Yeah.
So you get to really see who's going to push through.
Who's made of...
Yes, who's made of,
steel,
iron.
right?
Steel.
So we've got the double elimination next week. I personally think that it's going to be Ginger and Vaughn. Those are the ones that
That's actually a good.
I think it's time to go.
I think it's going to be both the athletes. I think it's going to be Vaughn and Antonio.
I was going to say that too, but I feel like one of the girls has to get going too.
Yeah.
But who knows?
That actually seems like a better one. And then it's the guys versus the girls.
Yes, team dances.
So that will be interesting.
Like how this is. Kind of. Guys over there, girls over here.
I'll be looking forward to seeing them.
They're dancing to iconic artists, but are we gonna? It's Prince in that lineup because I didn't hear him.
Prince,
Yeah,
Whitney,
he
Madonna.
named a whole bunch. And I didn't hear Prince, so I was like,
Fix
Don't
that for
play.
next week, please.
One last thought I have about this show in particular. Did you guys feel like that Erin and Tom Bergeron were kind of pimping the celebrities out a lot? Like after every interview, they'd be like, "Do this
us that
crazy
move."
thing." Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
actually.
I hated that.
I'm so glad
I felt
you mentioned
so
that.
uncomfortable every time.
That was harder to watch than that
Than Jodie's injury.
train wreck of a dress that Erin wore.
Ooh, last week though. I wish we would have talked about it.
She
The
looked
black
like
butterflies.
a corpse last
She
night.
looks really
bless.
out of place, and she's a stunning woman.
I know.
Right.
And I don't know what's going on. It's
I don't
just
either.
not working out
It
right
looked
now.
like-
Darvina
is
makes
it?
it sound so nice, and she's like,
looks
I am
like-
worried. I'm
Very
concerned.
concerned.
Yeah. Her hair.
Her hair, she looked like Morticia Adams or something. She looked like she was wearing casket lining. That was the
Yeah.
ugliest dress
Oh
I've
my
ever
God.
seen.
The most beautiful one in the entire
She's
world.
so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and by the
something's
way, love her.
yeah.
Not on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh my gosh.
I usually really enjoy her. I feel like she brings something fun to the show, but this week, she kept getting people to do
I hated
dances,
it.
and it was very awkward.
It was
and then
awkward.
she
To
started
chill
doing
out
them
with
herself.
sexual innuendo too. Enough.
Yeah.
Like this is a family show on ABC.
No, I feel you.
Enough.
No, I agree.
I don't know.
I agree.
They need to get rid of her, and then they need to get rid of her wardrobe stylist.
No, wardrobe stylist first, and then
And then
maybe it'll
her.
change.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll change.
Yeah.
Oh
Maybe,
my gosh.
we'll
Hilarious.
dig her more.
No hard
just-
feelings, Erin.
It's just tough to get thrown under the bus like that, and she'd be like, "Remember that really emotional moment when you were on the ground sobbing in your package? Just recreate that really quick." Like, just,
God.
Cry for us right
Seven,
now.
eight.
Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
She should have kicked Jodie in the shins and been like, "How did that feel? Are
Oh
we
my
healed
God.
yet?"
Oh man.
All right. I think, did everyone kind of give their idea of their predictions for
Predictions.
next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I better see and hear some Prince. That's all
Yeah.
I'm throwing out there.
That would be nice.
R.I.P.
I can't believe that we're done covering this episode.
I know.
Yeah, it was
I
a good
know.
episode.
It was very
yeah,
good.
They really managed to fill 2 hours like
Yes.
from start to finish.
Yes.
The
I
dances
had
were longer. I noticed
Yeah,
that.
they get longer toward the end of the season.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
And
good. I
we're
like
probably
that.
going to be seeing multiple performances shortly, right?
I think
Yeah,
so.
if
It should be
not-
about that time.
Yeah, if not this coming week, the following
Week
week
after.
for sure.
Yeah.
So that will be cool. And we also are going to be having Shirley
Special
Ballas in the studio next week. Thank God.
I know.
It's next week, not this week.
Yes, I
So you guys
posted
have
on
to-
Twitter earlier today that she was coming in today, so my apologies to everybody if
My bad.
you were
Next
wishing
week. I
for
read the
Shirley
email wrong.
Ballas.
So she will be here to
But
give
next
us her
week.
thoughts,
Yes.
which she always does.
So make sure you
well.
stay tuned because
Yeah.
we might have some other guests in the building next week
Oh,
too.
definitely. We're
This
working
was
on
a
it,
really
guys.
fun
We
show.
are.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's the end of our after show for now. I am your host, Rhavin with the V, and you can find me at B Stays Busy, BIZZY. Darvina in the house. Tell them where they can find you, doll.
Thanks for watching, guys. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at DivaDav.
My two beautiful ladies, Rhavina, as I like to call them, hashtag Rhavina. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mr. Matthew Evan, and I had so much fun on the hashtag DWTS After Show today.
Yes, and you guys can find me, Jeff Graham, on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham and Instagram at Jeffrey Crane Graham. Thanks, guys.
And be sure to check out the AfterBuzz new website. Rate us, subscribe, all that good stuff. Stay in tune.
Take care, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.